Hello, welcome to Sound Bites. I'm your host, Holly Whitfield, here from the Daily Memphian with DJ Naylor and Reny Alfonso of Brazen Restaurant Group, a name you may not know yet, but you do know their work. DJ owns Celtic Crossing, Bog Barley, now Maeve's Tavern in Memphis, and Chef Reny Alfonso is the Director of Operations for all of those. How are y'all today?
Great. Thanks for having us, Natalie and Holly. Thanks very much.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in here on a work day, on a busy day. Every day is a work day for you guys. Today we're going to talk about these Memphis restaurants, how Irish, Cuban, and Memphis inspirations have found their way onto the menus, and probably a lot more. And then hopefully get to know Reny and DJ a little bit better. But first, please know Soundbites is the Daily Memphian's food, drink, and dining podcast. It's free, and you can catch all the extended episodes on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or at dailymemphian.com. New episodes air on Thursdays on WYXR Radio at 11. If you're listening there, up next you can tune into the Daily Memphian CEO, Eric Barnes. He has a podcast called The Sidebar. But now let's talk food, people, Memphis, all that good stuff. Reny, we'll start with you. How did you get to Memphis, and why Memphis?
Well, I originally moved to Memphis back in 2005 to work at the Peabody at Chez Philippe.
Yes.
And then I left in 2010 to go to Philly, New York, DC, Miami, you name it, with Star Restaurants. And during the pandemic, I had moved back to Miami. And DJ and I had always stayed in touch throughout the whole time. He actually managed one of my properties that I had here at the time. And we were just talking, and then he started saying, man, I want to do something different. I want to do Bog Barley. We didn't have the name yet. And, you know, he did his little Irish charm and got me up here. And the funniest part about it was I told him, okay, I'll think about it. But if you want to be serious about it, you need to come down here to meet me.
Yeah.
He was on a flight down like 3 days later, I think, to Miami for a night.
He took you seriously.
After many pints of Guinness in Miami, I was like, all right, he's serious. So he flew me up, and lo and behold, I moved back.
That's amazing. Why Memphis originally? Was it the Peabody and Chez Philippe that kind of found you, or?
They found me. Their corporate executive chef was based out of Orlando. And a friend of mine, my best friend, Brian, his wife was working at the Peabody in Orlando. And she overheard their chef talking about a dinner they had at my restaurant in West Palm. And I guess Jose had just given notice, and she was like, well, that turns out it's my husband's best friend's the chef at that restaurant. So he called me, we talked, and I was like, where's Memphis?
That's amazing. Where's Memphis? That's serendipitous. I mean, that is truly amazing. I've heard really good things about your time there at the Peabody. I moved here in 2005 to go to college, so I was not dining at Chez Philippe at that time. But I've heard good things from people. So that's so fun. I love that you got to Memphis through this like word of mouth and then through your relationships. DJ, your turn. You've been here a little bit longer.
Yeah. I emigrated in 94 to the US. My first stop is Boston, where most Irish people end up when they're leaving Ireland. They don't really have a plan. You end up in Boston. By hook or by crook. I visited Memphis a few times, 98, 99. Actually was here the weekend Princess Diana died.
Oh.
Yeah, that was one of those
memorable
moments. Yeah. And in 2000, I got a little tired of what's known as the Big Dig in Boston, where every morning you woke up, there was a different route to work, like every day. It's like, this road's closed. No, this road's closed. So I just said, I'm tired of it. I needed to change. So had some friends that were soccer coaches here, came to visit and started sleeping on someone's couch. And next thing you know, I moved to Memphis. So 2000 and 2001, and then sort of got into rental property business in Midtown. Yes. Had a few nice, fortunate days in that, and then just happened to be in the right place, which was in the Irish pub, Dan McGuinness's at the Peabody, when there was a group of people talking about trying to open an Irish pub. And I was celebrating having sold the building that day. So long story short, I ended up coming into what is now Celtic Crossing as the investor.
Right.
Back then. And just like all, everybody had different ideas of what Celtic Crossing needed to be. And it really needed to have less owners and more direct ownership in terms of direction. So it started out a little bit shaky, but around 2010, 2011, I became the sole owner, bought out some of the other partners. And Celtic recently celebrated 20 years. So
congratulations.
That was a big milestone. Followed by a car hitting the patio 2 days later.
Yes.
I had just landed in Ireland, and it was just one of those crazy things. But we are getting it back open. We're feeling like it's an opportunity to sort of reboot it. In the interim, obviously, we've got Bog Barley up and running in 2023, and that's sort of a milestone, sort of bucket list project.
Yes.
That Reny was so influential in getting that running opened, and to much acclaim in Memphis. I think still people walk in after 3 years and they still go, wow, this is here.
It's impressive.
Yeah. And
there's a lot to take in.
And then we're also very proud of the recent opening of Maeve's. I mean, if we wanted it to be different. It is different. The menu's different. The look and feel is different. And it is sort of a shout out to my two oldest girls, Maeve. They represent Maeve.
Yes.
This, tyrant, Irish mythical monster who killed everyone before and behind her. Well, my girls are good at that too.
Yes. How old are they?
They're about to turn 13 and about to turn 10. And
that checks out.
They're around the restaurants a lot. I mean, they want to work. I mean, they're all about the green dollar bill, and they want to work and they want to help, and they're already putting their names in the hat for, hey, I want to do this on Cooper Young, and so they're very involved.
I love that. So you've kind of broken it down for us a little bit on the differences between the three different properties. Reny, talk a little bit more about the menu differences. What are you going to be able to get at one versus the other?
Well, at all three, you'll have your staples of Irish cuisine, or what we think of Irish cuisine: fish and chips, shepherd's pie, bangers and mash, in that scenario. All three have their own identity as far as cuisine is concerned. Celtic is more true to like the standard pub that we consider, or what we've known as a pub. When we started drawing out, and when I saw the size of Bog Barley, and I was like, you want to put this here?
There's a lot to fill up.
And then with the great, designers that we worked with out of, Ireland and stuff. And when we started getting that vision, my whole perception of what the menu was going to be changed a little bit. Mm-hmm. So yes, we have the staples, and then our trip to Ireland was pretty eye-opening as well for me, because they're not eating that every day there, No. They're not eating bangers and mash. They're not eating, so their food is based on what's around them. So I kind of coined it in my head as like a bistro on steroids.
Yeah, I can see that.
But with an Irish flair to everything. So, lots of whiskey, lots of Guinness. And that was pretty much my intention with it. So it's like just using what's fresh, and we change the menu, 5-6 times a year, like certain items. Obviously, some things never change because they're just so popular.
Yes. It's not good to take things off the menu.
Well, I always consider it like steering the Titanic. You just don't make a sharp left turn. You have to ease into it. So, and we obviously saw what happened to the Titanic.
Apparently, if they just would have kept going straight, they would have been better off.
So, in that regards, that's what my inspiration was for Bog Barley. And that's what I saw that. And then when Maeve's came along, it's a lot smaller than Bog.
Cozy. In the Collierville town square, if people don't know, whereas Bog Barley is in the Regalia Shopping Center.
So in essence, the food is still kind of what we did at Bog a little bit, but I think we turned it more into, I don't want to use the word gastropub anymore because that's not really a thing. But
we can bring it back. It's a thing.
But, more composed dishes at a good price point. We're really focusing on quality and price, especially with the way things are right now.
Yeah.
So we don't take shortcuts, obviously. And, I talked to some of my old chefs. I'm like, you guys are still making veal stock? People just buy that now. I'm like, yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah.
So, all the restaurants now are just really about getting everybody the tools they need to do the job well, and then, just being relevant.
Yeah.
That's the best word I can use, is relevant and consistent.
I feel like that is so important in the Memphis dining scene. It's something I've noticed is like the places that really have staying power and make it, or maybe they're just the places that I really like and find myself choosing over and over again. Like there is an element of dependability, consistency. Like if I feel like I want to go back and get the fish and chips because that's what I'm craving, I can find it there. It hasn't been taken away. But sometimes I want to see what's the special? I want something different and new. So that's the relevancy part of it. But the service and the feel, I think, has to be consistent in Memphis because they'll talk and they won't come back.
As we built this thing, our core value is 100,000 welcomes. Mm-hmm. How do you say it again?
Kid meal fall.
I refer that to him.
Yes.
But, that's consistency is that. And DJ with the Irish 100,000 welcomes, if you will. That's the biggest thing. Consistency. And that's kind of what, I don't want to use the word beat into everybody that works with us, but it's something we really just drive to enforce into our beliefs and our core belief.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more about, you said your trip to Ireland was eye-opening. People are eating what's around them. My guess on that is more seafood and fresh things like that.
Depends where you are, but I ate my fill in oysters.
Yeah.
Definitely every meal I had oysters pretty much in one shape, form, or another, or a lot of them. Definitely Guinness, because that's just the best beer in my opinion, and that'll never change. And I'll make any Irishman blush on the Guinness consumption. But
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
No, but we went from just the pubs to where you have boiled ham and potatoes to fine dining, and really all of them had the same common core. It's like they're using what's around them. They're showcasing their butter, their dairy. They're showcasing, in Dublin, we went Brazen head, and I had boiled ham and potatoes, but you read on the menu that the ham came from a farm nearby, so it's very farm to table, in that sense. But again, it was fresh. So as we worked our way up in the service styles of restaurants, you can still see it was like fresh ingredients, fresh produce. So that's what we're just trying to do here.
Well, I think it shows in the taste and the people coming back. So I want to ask you one more thing about the cuisine. Well, I'll probably have more questions, but this one for sure. How does Memphis influence your recipes as opposed to all the other influences you have from the places you've worked, Irish food? And that can be actual food or...
So you can find a little bit of the South in some of the things we do. We have a black and red fish and grits on the menu right now.
That is what I had when I went for brunch a few weeks ago. I loved it. Yeah.
But, we throw our Irish spin on it with the Dubliner sauce, which is pretty much just a whiskey cream sauce. It's called the Dubliner sauce because it was considered ritzy at the time, and they made it with lobster stock.
Yeah.
Right. So, we do have certain elements of the menu. The cheesecake we just changed over. It's almost like a pecan pie crossover hybrid, if you will. So we do tailor to that to a certain extent. And we want to make everybody welcomed, of course. But at the end of the day, it's really what just tastes good.
Yeah.
I think people just want food that tastes good. We don't have to get into anything crazy, so.
DJ, you said that Bog Barley was your... What did you say? Your bucket list? It wasn't that. It was your...
It's a real... Yeah, it was. We call it... For us, it's a staging ground for a lot of things we do.
Yes.
So we would like to think as Bog Barley is where the company, basically our core values, people train through there. When when Celtic had his accident, the managers from Celtic went to work at Bog, and they were blown away. They were like, wow, the culture, the trainability, the learning I've did here. One of our managers, Webb, was like, can I stay here? Do I have to go back? Joking, DJ, I can't wait to go back, but I want to bring some of this with me. So Bog is our staple, our training ground.
Our hub.
Our hub, yeah. And we do everything to make sure it stays that way. And not just with the back of the house, and obviously Reny's got a massive part of that, but on the front of the house. If we have if a guest, we like to create experiences. And if that means me stopping by with the girls for 5 minutes to say hello to somebody who's having a small party and they said it's DJ and I'm around and if I could change their experience, I will do that. But there's 100 ways of doing that. And number one is our staff. And I'm really proud of all our managers and their attitudes. And he says we beat it into them. We really don't. I'll tell you, what we do well is when we do have a problem, we're honest with it. Let's figure out what caused it and let's make sure that problem doesn't fool us again. And that's what I love, is like people's transparency around, hey, we had an issue last night. Here's the total breakdown of every last detail. Arrived at this time, all the data, and so we learn from it. They learn from it, and the next one in, doesn't suffer the same consequence. So that is what Bog is. It's our hub.
I can absolutely relate to the idea of breaking down when something goes wrong. You're running a bunch of news stories every day, running a bunch of content. You've got to break it down. You've got to see the timestamps and figure it out and try to do better each day. Okay, so what makes an Irish pub an Irish pub? You've probably been asked that before, but humor me. Besides Guinness.
I mean,
either of you. Or
for
both.
me,
I might talk about why it's changing.
Okay.
It is changing. I think for me, back, before I got involved in this big project, I did work at an Irish pub in Miami back in the day. Mm-hmm. And I've vacated many of them. It's always been about just somewhere you're comfortable to have a conversation, have a good pint, and obviously get a bite. Even though in Ireland, pubs are more drinking houses than food driven. So here it's kind of been more of a combination of the two. So it's just a cozy place. Yes, it could be this elaborate thing that Bog Barley is, or Maeve's Tavern is more in the middle.
Yeah.
But it's just
literally on the town
but
square.
You still feel comfortable in there, and it's, you're just literally comfortable, and you can take a date, you can take a business meeting, you can take anyone you want to go over with just for a casual lunch. Just somewhere you can go and just, it's consistent.
And accessible, right? Like any city you go to, you see, there's the Irish pub, and you kind of know to a certain extent what you're going to get. It's like a safe bet if you just, need a beer and check it out.
Back in the day, my favorite pub in Miami, which is reopening this week, but it's an English pub. But it was also a punk bar. It was like the CBGBs of Miami. Mm-hmm. But I went there a lot, and I would walk in, and they'd see me, and they would have my shot and my pint ready for me before I sat down. I was like the norm. Right. Yeah. Can't beat it. It was on my way home. I'm just going to go in for one. And, and there was always a show. So it was just a good time. So that's what a pub is to me.
Yeah. How's that changing, you think?
It's changing across the world. I think the Irish pub, as Reny said, is more of a drinking house. There's a lot of pubs in Ireland that don't serve any food. There's no legal requirement to serve food. Right. We obviously have requirements in a lot of U.S. states. We have it in Tennessee. If you go to Boston, it's a great example, right? There's a lot of staple Irish pubs that have that are suffering or have gone to the wall, where their focus on cuisine was very limited. Right. So they might have been a higher percentage drinking establishment, maybe say 70-30, and that 70% drinking is falling. People's habits are changing. Mm-hmm. We're seeing a push towards doing other things than going out drinking. We're seeing a push into the NA space. Non-alcoholic cocktails are really center stage right now. And across the world, this is not just Ireland, this is all over the world. And I think US is experiencing the lowest alcohol consumption since Prohibition right now. Wine sales, I think, are at a 60 to 70 year low. So we're seeing people shifting. I think there has to be more focus on food, on quality, experience, having more of an experience, to be more event driven, and that's showing its teeth. I mean, there's a lot of places. I lived in Boston for 8 years. A lot of places gone to the wall, right, where the people just used to go there and go drinking, and maybe get a shepherd's pie that was average. That's not going to cut it anymore. It's not going to be memorable. Yeah, and I think it's across the U.S. Or Instagrammable, which whenever people talk about the way that drinking culture and going out culture is changing, I always think about just the way that social media has changed how people are kind of, whether it's they really enjoy sharing something that's photogenic or they're showing off, and it's, not as earnest maybe. They're just kind of performative. I think that plays a role. You have to be aware of it if you're a business owner. I also think about things like CBD and what role that plays in people going out or not. But that's just my little soapbox. There's a slew of variables. They're all in there. The CBD, the Instagrammability, the mindset now. I mean, I almost feel like we're back to the stage of, mothers after drunk drivers. There's a whole new mindset now forming, and we all have to adapt to that.
Yeah. And it sounds like you are. I want to talk more about an evolution in Cooper Young. I lived in Cooper Young for like 15 years until recently. I miss it, but you've been there. We've seen long time places there like evolve, come and go. Like Alchemy has closed. Cooper's is now Cooper's, but other places are opening. Like Fawn is opening. How has it changed in the last couple of years? And we have like this whole pandemic in there that also like throws things into it.
I think the pandemic is the
lay
biggest,
of the land.
The biggest factor.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably more akin to talking about this maybe than Reny. Now, I will say, Reny lived there.
Yeah.
So he has a different viewpoint than maybe what I have. I think Cooper Young's changed a lot.
Yeah.
I think the pandemic changed who was living there. And I feel like it was a much more local place pre-pandemic. It's got a lot of different, it's more foreign, I think, in its space right now. From a business standpoint, I think security and crime has a major role to play.
Right.
Certainly from 21, 22, 23. Are we all trying to do something about it? Yeah, we are. I mean, I feel like I never used to say this, but we roll as downtown rolls a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think some of the struggles downtown do impact Midtown too. So if the person in Lakeland or Arlington or Collierville, they make a statement like, hey, I'm not going to the ball game downtown, they're probably making the same statement about going to a restaurant in Cooper Young.
Or they may not really know the difference.
Or not know the difference.
I've talked to a lot of people like that who get a mixed up.
So we have to change that mindset. We have to change that. It's like a paradigm shift needed. And, you know, I know we talk about crime statistics and they're getting better, but until people really feel comfortable and safe, the numbers I don't think really matter that much.
It's about the perception. The perception becomes the reality,
And I think that, I mean, I don't want to be hard on anybody, but the more that's done to solve the downtown crime problem, the better off Midtown will be too. And I always hear this, but I think it's very true. Every city needs a downtown.
Yeah.
And a successful one. And so the more that gets done to improve downtown, the better off we'll all be in Midtown.
And elsewhere,
Yeah.
And when I lived there, it was a walkable area.
Yes.
Like everybody was walking.
That was my experience as well.
Yeah, when I'm going to go grab a pint of Celtic. I mean, I didn't really know DJ at that point. I mean, we met shortly after I moved here, but all right, cool, let's go. Or, you know, wherever. And then now you don't see really anyone walking that much, like not like it was before. Families on Sunday, that was a big thing. I remember I called him vividly one day. I'm like, hey man, you know, my son was just born. I was like, what's up? I'm like, hey, can I get a table for brunch at Celtic? He was like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, oh, they told me an hour wait or something. He was like, what? And he was in the back and he put me in the front. You know, I'm like, I was like, well, all right, cool.
Yeah.
You know, so like, it wasn't like that's what everyone did.
Yeah, it's what everyone did, for sure.
And now you don't really see that much foot traffic.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would have loved to stay in Cooper Young, but, you know, the house prices are what they are. So people got to make choices, and all that stuff plays into it. I think that
had something to do with the rising property pushed a lot of the people that worked in the restaurants in the area out as well. Yeah. And the rising rents, even. I mean, but it happens everywhere.
True. Yeah. This isn't an isolated thing with Cooper Young, but it is like the reality.
Like when I lived in New York, you know, I had 5 guys living in Brooklyn that would have to, in a small apartment that would travel, you know, like it happens everywhere.
We can say probably the same thing about the entire Memphis dining scene, but let's think a little more outside of the realm of this, of crime and the way the city's going and economy, if we can, and think about like the food and the experience. So with all that in mind, like how do you guys see the Memphis dining scene evolving? Is there a cohesive scene? Like what do you think is happening next? What are we going to see more of? And this is kind of like your perspective as people that have been in the industry and in the business for a while, more so than like what you're planning. Although I'm about to ask you that too. So yeah. But so how do you see the Memphis dining scene now? How is it evolving? What do you think we'll see next?
I think it is evolving. I think it's getting better.
Yeah.
I think there's more talent, or people coming up and showing off what they can do. I do believe social media has a big influence on it as well. Because it's easier for people to get their stuff out there. It just really comes down to having the determination and the grit to stick it out, to make it work. That's really what it comes down to a lot, especially when somebody's trying something new. Like
that can be hard for Memphians.
It's hard for people to change up. I do believe we're finally starting to edge away from like everything having to be fried culture type scenario. I'm using that as just a general blanket.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that. So, and my biggest proof for that is when I call a vendor asking for something 5 years ago when I moved back. Simple. I can't even think of anything on the top of my head. I'm like, do you carry this? I'm like, no. And it's like basic stuff that I got used to always being able to just get on the dime in a big city. So now it's starting to change where I call my vendor. I'm like, oh yeah, we can get you that. So it's nice to see that it's starting to evolve. But with that comes people wanting to try new things. And, do I want more diverse foods to come? Sure.
Yeah.
But it takes a while for that to happen. It doesn't happen overnight.
What kind of cuisine would you like to see come to Memphis? And maybe I'm not saying we don't have something, but...
Mongolian.
Yeah.
Hardcore, like real hardcore Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
Not, what we think of Chinese here. I love the Thai food here. But, I want more of it.
Yes.
I love Asian stuff.
DJ, what do you think?
I think I agree with Reny says. We need more independent, gritty, but they're against the headwinds now of a lot of things working against them. So I feel like the independent guy is up against it like never before. Mm-hmm. Someone wants to but there are some great success stories. I think that the Hard Times.
Yeah.
It's a great example.
Yeah. We had those fellows on the podcast last week or a couple weeks ago.
It's a great example. And some of the things they've done in their other spaces are really good examples of that. You just don't want to see the world overrun with corporate. Mm-hmm. And, so we're always hearing about this next burger joint coming, and I don't get too excited about that. I like to hear when new things intrinsically created in Memphis has success to it. And we need more of that. So it's tougher times. I mean, we've seen major cost increases to operate a restaurant since the pandemic, and now we're starting to see maybe them starting to go back up again. Just almost inflation's back in, and we've got to watch all the other things that I won't bore you with it. But they're headwinds. Yeah. But we'd like to see more independent.
It's affecting a lot of people in a lot of different ways, and I appreciate the honesty with that. I think two things can be true. I think we can be excited about what's new and what's coming. We can also talk honestly about the challenges that we're facing. So I'm all about two things can be true. I do have a couple of kind of fun, if you want to say, rapid fire kind of questions. Either one of you jump in. What did you last cook at home that you liked, if you cooked at home?
Carbonara.
Mm-hmm. What's your secret?
Just make carbonara. I don't know.
Just a classic.
A classic carbonara. There was no frills. That's my son's favorite dinner.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He asked for that before I left.
Making cookies from cookie dough for my daughter to sell them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then for a certain food critic to tell me it was the best cookie he'd ever tasted. To name to be not mentioned.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, you may have a new business on your hands. A guilty pleasure food that would surprise people, maybe, if you believe in such a thing.
So I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure, but my hangover go-to, which is very few in between these days, is fettuccine Alfredo with chicken tenders on top and doused, and I mean drowning in Tabasco.
Like fried chicken tenders.
Yeah.
That sounds great. That sounds excellent.
That's like
mine's not as guilty. Not as guilty. I love avocado toast, bacon, and poached eggs. And I had it yesterday, actually at Brother Juniper's. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of into what I eat now, and kind of wellness and a little bit more healthy and watching what I eat.
Healthy pleasure.
Yeah, but that's still delicious. I mean, it's still
good.
got like a decadent if you're into the avocado
I'm just
toast.
into avocados right now. As Reny knows, we just put a new salad on with the choices where I think citrus or avocado, and
we put both on there.
Yeah. Why not
both?
both?
In the middle.
And I love beets.
Beets. Yeah.
Roasted beets. meats.
Roast meats. All right, take note. DJ's got a couple hyperfixation foods happening right now. We all do. So a great meal you've had out recently. It could be in Memphis. It could be somewhere else.
I'll go. I had a great meal a couple of weeks ago at the bar, last minute. Mm-hmm. Just was passing by, went to Amelia Jean's. I had the filet. It was nice, really nice glass of wine. Bartender used to actually work at Bog. I love him. And just one of those last minute, out of the blue.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
At Amelia Jean's downtown. Yeah. One more go-to whiskey, no hesitation.
Go-to?
Yeah.
My go-to, okay, all of them.
Well, see, last night I visited a table at Bog, and a gentleman there wanted to show me a picture of his Irish whiskey collection.
Yes.
He was like, "Oh, you're here. I got to show you the collection." And so I went across the entire line, and I stopped the Glendalough Mizunara, which is an Irish whiskey from Wicklow that is finished in Japanese wood barrels. That it's not expensive, but it is amazing. So that is right now what was in my head.
It's on your mind. Yeah.
Glendalough, Japanese finished Irish whiskey. It's only double distilled, but it's very good.
Well, thank you so much. Everyone, remember Celtic is reopening for Cooper Young Fest coming up in a few weeks. And we wish you all the best with that. Sorry that happened with the car crash, but we're glad everyone seems to be mostly okay and you guys are getting ready to reopen. Anything else you need the people to know before we run out of time?
We're delighted to be here. Delighted to still be around. Thank you.
Absolutely. You are listening to the Daily Memphian Sound Bites podcast with me, your host, Holly Whitfield. I'm here with Celtic Crossing owner DJ Naylor and the director of operations for Celtic, Maeve's Tavern, and Bog Barley, Reny, Alfonso. If you're tuning in to WXR, keep listening for the sidebar with Eric Barnes after this. If you're listening through your podcast app, go ahead and take the time to subscribe. Listen to all the episodes from this season. I think we've got more than 50 for this year so far. I was counting it up the other day. That is all the time we have. I'm Holly. Thank you again, DJ and Reny. Maybe we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.